It's 2021. I still haven't finished my 2018 New Year's resolution, people are still crazy outside, and Star Citizen is still in development. Some things are eternal, but that doesn't mean they aren't enjoyable. This is an overview of what Star Citizen can offer you right now, and it will tell you whether it's worth jumping in now or waiting another 10 years. As usual, you'll be treated to the Space Tomato Special, with plenty of eye candy to keep you entertained. I hope you enjoy the show and get something out of it. Thank you for coming to my Tomato Talk. So first and foremost, the game is obviously beautiful. While it started out as a good-looking MMO, it has blossomed into one of the most detailed and expansive first-person games out there. The visuals can be breathtaking. That on its own is a good enough reason for some people to join in, but it's also a pretty fun game to play with others. In fact, one of the biggest draws to the game is the expansive nature, with such an intimate feeling, being able to see players face to face so often, and even read their emotions.
That's right, Mel. If you find a wreck or any sort of salvage worth our while, send us a com, and we'll give you a finder's fee.
What helps that point is that the community is a pretty good one, generally being helpful all around and sharing a hope for a great space game. The average age in Star Citizen is a little bit higher than other games. That being said, servers are currently limited to 50 players, which is a paltry amount for an MMO. While the studio is currently providing regular updates on the tools that will help sidestep this limit, the silence in game is noticeable. And finally, before we formally begin, the amount of bespoke and unique items in a game at this stage is astonishing. There are well over 50 completely unique ship types for you to fly, destroy, explore, and just stare at. And if we're talking about variations, then there are over 100 ships. It's incredible the little subtle differences you can see in the ships of different companies. Between the paint schemes, naming schemes, or even door styles, there are little details everywhere that really make these ships shine more than anything before them. These characteristics also roll over to things like weapons. All ship and FPS weapons are made by companies with very specific styles. This can lead to some very interesting developments as well. And every weapon and almost every ship can be purchased with in-game credits through no more than a few weeks of playing and earning some money. No real money is necessary after purchasing the game for the original $45. All of these items, of course, come with many bugs, complications, and imbalance, and Star Citizen has no shortage of those.
Pull up the nose. More forward. There, okay.
Alright, come down. Looking good. Looks good. All the way. Come on down.
What?
Oh. But now that we have the general points out of the way, let's dive in and see what the details offer us. Let's start with the most important part, the locations. There are plenty of locations in Star Citizen for you to visit. The scale of the game is large. Not Elite Dangerous large, but large. And in relation to that game, much more detailed. Despite having a smaller area, the detail to size ratio is mind-blowing. You'll be flying dozens of millions of kilometers just to meet up with a friend, only to then walk 100 meters to the train station, which flies 5 more kilometers into the city. The difference in interactivity and scale in this game is almost unmatched when combined with detail of the environments, and the possibility of 2 entirely new star systems is just around the corner. Even as the game grows every quarter, the environments grow more and more diverse. And keep in mind, these locations I'm showing you are all due for updates, expansions, and improvements that have been discussed over the years but will be on hold until the game has reached a more mature state. Now let's take a look at each of the distinct places you'll be able to visit. Arcorp is a planet covered by city. Think Coruscant from Star Wars. It is layered in industrial, commercial, and residential districts, and quite unbelievably remains the most industrialized planet in human space, despite its short history. While there is currently not as much scale as might be imagined, and not a single source of water or wilderness, the planet is due to receive extra work in the future. The primary landing zone here is Area 18, a small metropolis with a trading area, hospital, mission giver, and multiple shops selling weapons, clothes, and armor. Arcorp also has 2 moons, both of which offer a variety of minerals to mine, locations to haul cargo to and from, and pirates to engage with in combat. Hurston is the dirtiest planet you'll find, having been used atrociously for many weapons tests and mining operations over the decades. It has several biomes for you to explore before entering its major city of Lorville. A rather Blade Runner-styled city towered over by the large Hurston headquarters building. This city offers sales locations for armor, clothes, and ship weapons, as well as useful items such as the multi-tool. With 4 moons in orbit, Hurston offers an incredible amount of diverse gameplay with some of the best mining areas in the game, derelict ships, outposts to sell and buy at, and numerous bounties and pirates to chase. The high-tech fancy planet is how one might envision Apple developing its first home away from Earth. Despite a disastrous terraforming incident early in the planet's settled history, the company, Microtech, went on to make it a very livable and inviting place. While most of the planet is freezing cold snowy forests, you'll also find obsidian fields and alpine forests in green zones as well. This planet is great for exploration and holds some of the most beautiful landscapes in the game. With 3 moons, there are also a multitude of gameplay opportunities in the area. The final planet in the first star system, Crusader, has been around longer than any other planet. This is because it has only been a static asset for the last 6 years or so, and not somewhere that was actually explorable. Due to enter the game in 2021, this planet is a massive gas giant with space whales flying throughout the clouds and a cloud city floating in the mid-atmospheric level. That's right, the landing zone on this planet is floating amongst the clouds, and is actually used as a manufacturing area for the large ships Crusader Industries creates, allowing for lower construction and fuel costs. Pretty smart. This planet has 3 moons as well, and tons of space stations, hidden outposts, mining areas, and in-game events to attend in the area. Now, you may have noticed these planets all have weird names. That is because in lore, the government sold these planets to companies in order to raise some money from the discovery of the system. So the companies came up with the most creative names their marketing departments could muster. This also goes in line with what I was saying earlier with the companies existing in the game. Crusader Industries makes ships that are beloved by the fan base. However, it is also a company in the game with missions, locations, and its own landing zone. Little tidbit for you. Besides planetary systems, there are also points of interest all throughout every star system in the game. In this system, Stanton, you'll find many space stations dotted throughout the cargo lanes of the system, with cargo decks that don't really do anything other than provide atmosphere, but also with refining decks, which will allow you to turn ore into more profitable material. These stations also act as meeting spots, refueling and rearming locations, food and drink stops, sales locations, and areas to spawn additional spaceships. They are surrounded by incredible gas cloud nebulae, which are created by a unique tool that the company has constructed for better visuals in space. As a starter, you'll have to use these space stations to refuel a lot, but as the game progresses, everybody tends to have more and more reasons to drop by. And then finally, there's Delamar, a planetoid with its own landing zone, area of influence, and areas to explore. Though Delamar will be moving to its original system in the next couple of years. However, it's definitely worth visiting before being removed, as it's one of the only areas without a law system. You see, each of these locations has its own law system and jurisdiction. Make sure to always check what the law is where you are, as you might be in a location where killing somebody is completely allowed. If it's not allowed, however, you could be looking at prison time. Based on the severity of the crime committed, security can hunt you down and kill you, at which point you will be sent to a prison on one of Hurston's moons, where you'll be required to wait for your sentence to end in real time, or you could work it off in the mines. If you're not in that much trouble though, you'll just need to pay a fine. There are ways to avoid jail time, but I'll let you find those on your own. Star Citizen has a decent amount of missions and activities for you to take part in at all times, but generally lacks in mission diversity. This is a shortcoming of the still early alpha status the game holds. There simply aren't that many unique game loops for you to enjoy. That being said, your contract manager hosts many general missions with various methods of achievement and different rewards. Running these missions or any money-making activities in the game as a group is also easy due to the money trading app, which allows you to split your earnings, so you can still enjoy the game and share all your money with your friends. To run through the entirety of missions you can run, let's start with combat. You can assault various underground bunkers, taking an approach from the air, fighting off turrets, or a stealthy approach from the ground. Once you're inside, you'll clear out hostiles and either destroy or steal any contraband inside, if there is any. Some missions also call for you to assault these bases to find a specific data blade. You can commit to a boarding party assault on a commandeered luxury cruise ship. You'll need to destroy patrol ships and enter with your team to kill pirates while saving the security team and stopping a data hacking transfer. Bounty hunting is an option for those who would like to pursue the career. While you can't turn in live bounties, it is possible to hunt down and destroy both NPC and player bounties, with various rewards depending on their crimes, and various difficulties depending on how much help they might have. There are also plenty of general ship combat missions for various sized groups. Claim jumper missions will have you clearing out miners who stole somebody else's mining claim, along with their armed escort. Data retrieval missions will have you blowing up protected probes, which are trying to commit remote hacks. And escort missions will take you on a route with an NPC who needs protection. All of these missions can pay out pretty well depending on the quarter. If you are looking for less action, there are various investigation missions which will require you to find lost souls in caves, lost cargo in shipwrecks, or the black box of a mysteriously destroyed ship. Service beacons provide quick on-the-spot jobs such as personal transport and combat assistance. Mining is arguably the best and most interesting way of making money. It is the most fleshed out career path and actually offers unique experiences in 3 different formats. Ship mining is available in 2 ships with a brand new interface, allowing you to mine minerals from a multitude of materials which can be sold raw for often hundreds of thousands of credits, or refined into more valuable materials for a higher profit. Vehicular mining is available in one ground vehicle, which can roll over the ground in search of smaller rocks which can be cracked for a multitude of valuable resources. This can often be the most lucrative way of making money in the game if you can find the right moon to mine and the right place to sell. Hand mining requires your multi-tool and generally takes place deep in caves where small deposits of minerals can be found, mined, and stuffed in your backpack for a small profit. Keep in mind, very shortly new types of caves will be added, including sinkhole, fissure, and vehicle explorable caves. This means that mining could change drastically once these caves are introduced. All of the previously mentioned methods of mining offer various levels of gameplay that are up to you to discover through creativity. You can get groups together with dedicated roles for mining, transport, and scanning for new materials, maintaining a constant feed of revenue which can then be divvied out to all members using the Finance app. Check out my own community's attempt at making this happen in the corner or in the video description. You may have noticed earlier I mentioned refining as an option for some gameplay as well. Refinery space station modules are a brand new addition to the game as of the end of 2020. They allow players to input raw ore to be refined into more valuable materials which can then be transported to sales stations for profit. The refining process is actually fairly complex and requires some knowledge of the game and the way things work in order to get the most out of it. It also allows cargo haulers to have some fun and get involved in the mining game loop. It's one of those things that's easy to do and for most people completely ignorable, but if you want to get the most out of it, you can make it hard for yourself. And this is the first iteration, added in December 2020. In the future we will see a much more engaging process as well as the refining game loop brought to ships. So it's safe to say, meaningful additions are being made to the game. Then there are the cargo haulers, you know the type. Basically the Euro Truck Simulator crowd that has an itch for cool views and the occasional firefight. This is another great and expansive way to spend your time playing and making money. While the dynamic economy of Star Citizen is not fully operational, supply and demand, changing prices, and differing material costs are all things to consider while hauling materials, as well as the plentiful bugs and crashes in this game that will make you lose money while doing so. It is possible to buy out all of the stock of a certain item in one place, to find a station that has too much of said item and can't buy, or for valuable trading routes to shift in between every quarter. Cargo hauling can be done to an extent with almost any ship in the game, though there are ships at every size that are best in their class for this profession. For those looking to upgrade from their starter ship, the Nomad is a great option, and I'm always giving away some over on my Twitch channel every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So if you'd like the chance to grab one, let me send you cargo hauling. Just remember not to put all of your money into one haul, because if you lose it, you lose everything. There's also a more official method of hauling cargo that ties directly into the contract manager system, but it's not very useful for making money. It will take you to various places though, and help you learn how the system is laid out. Again, these can be accessed via your contract manager. And of course, there are more illegal activities you can get into. Like even attacking a space station can draw out major threats to battle with. But beware, the guns defending these stations are huge. Like, the size of a spaceship huge. So good luck. In addition to these more general missions and activities you take on that we've been discussing, you also have access to several mission givers throughout the star system. Consider these to be like fixers in Cyberpunk 2077. These individuals will give you more developed, engaging missions around the verse that you can take on by yourself or with others, and you can only get missions from many of them by earning a reputation that catches their eye. Reputation is incredibly important in Star Citizen and acts as the second currency after UEC. If you'd like to learn more about the reputation system and what's planned for it in the future, you can check out the video in the top corner or in the video description. Sometimes these mission givers will have stories associated with their missions, and sometimes you will even encounter a player that has been sent on a mission to oppose you. One particular mission line that has recently been expanded is the Arlington Bounty Hunter mission series. which has you tracking down a local crime family in a planetary system, nailing them until you finally come to the final bounty, an Idris, a massive 240-meter capital ship with an escort. It's a fun experience with friends, pays quite well, and gets you a look at the Idris. If you want a more detailed look at the current biggest ship in the game, you can find it on my channel here in the corner or down below. As the game grows, more of these mission givers will be implemented into the game, and the missions will become much more story-driven and interesting, as they aren't really all that amazing in their current state. For now, these individuals and their missions can be quite bugged and are mostly avoided. This is due to a problem that affects the entire game currently, an overworked network. And until this is fixed, hopefully sometime in 2021, expect to not see any new mission givers in the game. Speaking of problems like bugs and whatnot, let's talk about the pain points of the game. It is in development, deep in development. Oh God, please. No. And because of this, code in every part of the game is always changing. This leads to inevitable bugs popping up, and even after those bugs get fixed, the nature of the changing code means that often they pop back up again. If you aren't ready to experience crashes, bugs, and general annoyances here and there, I would hold off on the game for now. And you should also consider your PC. This game is thirsty, and the glass is never big enough. You must have at least 16 gigabytes of RAM and an SSD to play this game on. I would also suggest a pretty recent build. And while this may be too much to pay full price for, there are fairly frequent free fly events in which you can test the game out for yourself before spending the $45 to buy it. There are also often discount sales on starter game packages like right now until January 11th. Even if you want to wait or jump in right now, you can start by creating a free account at this moment. And you can reserve some extra money for whenever you decide to pull the trigger by using my referral code on the screen now, or by clicking the link in the video description to start your account. Besides the bugs, there are also rare database resets, with 4 updates every year. Sometimes a major fix will be needed in which certain databases may be wiped. This hasn't happened for as long as I can remember off the top of my head, but it is always a possibility. So long-term progression in this game, while generally accepted as being an option to all, is not a 100% guarantee. Speaking of major updates, this game features many new features that are constantly being shuffled around and triaged based on importance and other aspects. This can mean features you want and hope for will be delayed by 3 months or even longer. You can see more about where things look to be headed by following the roadmap for the game on the game website and subscribing to this YouTube channel. But I warn you, if you decide to follow this game closely, it's best to focus on what we have now and not what's coming next, because there's a chance it won't actually make the cut. Despite how much I enjoy this game, my answer to you is this. As of January 2021, for the average person, this game is a no. If this is the first video you're watching on this game, I highly suggest you go watch some actual gameplay, preferably on my Twitch channel. But it's hard to get a true grasp of this game without watching somebody play, and I feel you really need to experience that before making the decision. For somebody like me who loves space games, who has friends to play with, who is comfortable with the bugs, glitches, and crashes, this game is great. But it's better for most people to wait, keep an eye on the game, and jump in when stability and gameplay catch up to features. Don't worry guys, if you're right here with me, I'll let you know when to get in, and I'll personally introduce you to the game. If you want to keep up with the game or myself, until then, subscribe to this channel and join the Garden Discord server, a place for sci-fi. You can also find me on Twitch and Twitter, where you can interact with me more regularly. And if you'd like to support me here, become a YouTube channel member or a Patreon member, and get exclusive videos, early videos, and more frequent updates. That also helps support my giveaways, which you can always find in my video descriptions and of course over on my Twitch channel as well, where I'm currently giving away nomads and prospectors. I hope this video helped you guys out, and if you have more questions, get in touch. I'll catch you guys all in the next one.